Okay, it is time to harvest a few things because we've got things coming out of the greenhouse here. And really what's driving this is we've got the tomatoes are coming on. I've already gathered a bunch of those, taken them in the house, and there's too many for us to eat right now. So what we're going to do is make salsa and spaghetti sauce out of them. And we need some peppers. And as you can see right here, we've got plenty to choose from. So I'm going to pick some of these peppers, and I've got some tomatoes already. If we look over here, we've also got these kind of peppers. See over here, I think there's some bell peppers, yeah. See, there's some over here, and you can see that they're not fully grown yet, but they're probably good enough to harvest. And there's some good sized peppers there. And I think we got a couple of watermelons growing too, and we got some peppers growing here. So goodness me, what are we gonna do? Which ones should we take? Well, I'll have to think about that for a little bit, and then we'll pull them out and we'll make some salsa. Okay, there's some more stuff out of the greenhouse. So we've got our greenhouse garden stuff here, and we do have an onion or two around, but I pulled these out of the greenhouse. They've got some growing left to do. Okay, now we don't have any fresh garlic. I have some growing, but it's too small yet. So we're gonna actually put some powdered garlic in, and I'll put a little mustard and a little onion powder, just because I like that, and some bold chipotle seasoning. And here in the sink, getting cleaned up here, is all the garden stuff, and we'll start cleaning that up. Next step is put it in the blender back there and grind it all up, and then over here to the stove to cook it down a little bit. Okay, those are good and clean. Now most of these are Brandywine tomatoes, and they make real nice salsa and spaghetti sauce and actually ketchup or anything else you want to make. I like them. They're our favorite tomatoes to grow here. We just grind these all up in the blender here. Now you don't want to just chuck all your tomatoes in there, otherwise, you know, they won't blend down. What you've got to do is liquefy just a few first. So what we're going to do is cut maybe one of these into small pieces, and we're just going to leave the skins on and everything, and we're only going to cut out any parts that we don't like, such as the stem, or if there's a blemish on it or something like that. This is the only part of this tomato that we didn't like. Now what we do is we'll put this in here, and you got to get a little bit of liquid started first, so that the tomatoes will slosh around in there. It's kind of hard to explain what I mean, but if you just chuck a bunch of tomatoes in there, tomato pieces, they'll kind of jam up in the top here and they won't go down there. But if there's some liquid in it, it'll help stir it up. So here we go. Okay, now what we can do here is cut the rest of these. Now we like to do it this way because it's less trouble. You know, there's, I guess, other ways to do it where you skin them and blanch them and do all kinds of things. But we've done a lot of these. We have a whole bunch in the basement still in the pantry. And when you do it this way, at least for us, it just turns out great. So it's less trouble this way, and it goes pretty fast. So how it's liquefied it quite well, and I have a little bit of a leak there. Tighten that up. But, anyway, liquefied it quite well. Now what we're going to do, like I said before, we're going to boil this down a little bit, and we're going to put it on a pan in the stove. So we can kind of put all of our ingredients in the first batch out of this blender. So right now we've got some tomatoes, and so what I'm going to do, maybe not all of them, maybe the first and second batch, but we'll cut this onion up into quarters. And this will go in there too. Let's see if it'll... But you see, what we got here is a nice puree, and you know, you can make it more fine if you like. Put this in our pot that we're going to use to cook it down. And looking at this, I've got enough in the sink probably to get this nearly to the top, so we're going to have a good batch here. We're going to start hauling out our peppers after we clean them off, cut them up and throw them right in there, and they'll be ground up along with everything else. So what we're going to do now, cut up these peppers. We'll start with this little bell pepper first. Cut off the end, and then I'll try to get this seed pod out of here. Having some seeds in there isn't so bad, but I don't like a lot of them. Okay, so now all we need to do is just kind of cut that in half and throw it in there. See, what I like about this is you just throw all these in there, whole practically, and you've got some good liquid in there. Now, I know you can't really see that, but let me bring it over closer to the camera. But you can see it's kind of a puree, but all the peppers and that onion and the tomatoes are all ground up in there. So it works pretty well. Saves you a lot of work. So I'll do the rest of these peppers and some more tomatoes and get another blender full, and we'll put some more in there. Okay, as you can see, I've got this nearly full, and I've got another batch here. That's all the tomatoes. I hope that'll all fit in there. And I've got to hurry because my wife's taking a nap, see, and she doesn't like it when I'm doing things in the kitchen because she thinks I make a mess. So I don't know where she gets that idea, but anyway, I have to hurry. So hopefully get it done. Get it done before I get in too much trouble here. Okay, here we go. Just a few peppers left in our original trial, so I'll get these all cleaned out and hopefully we'll make it. Okay, I think I made it. She's still taking a nap. So let's see if this last bowl will fit in here. Oh, this is the part I usually get in trouble with. Oh, no, wait a minute, look at that. It's just a little bit. So now I've got to get that over to the stove without spilling. Uh-oh, I've just been discovered.
Keep rolling.
Well, okay, I got it. Okay, here goes. All right, let's see if I can do this without. Uh-oh. There. Okay. Here we go. No, I'll turn it on this one. Okay. Whew. Okay. Anyway, that's how you mix it all up in the blender. It's really easy to do. And the next thing, of course, we've got to cook it down. But then we're going to can it in an Instapot kind of a thing. We'll show you how to do that because these are actually little pressure cookers. And even though tomatoes are an acidic type thing, you usually can do it in a water bath quite easily. Instapots kind of make it a lot easier. As long as you're using smaller bottles, you can do smaller batches. It's not such a big production, in other words. That's what I like about it. Well, okay, my wife took over because I was making too much of a mess.
No, you were fine.
Oh, okay. But anyway, see, this step now is you just let it, kind of on a slow boil and let it boil down. If you remember when we filled it up, it was right to the top of the lid there. And you can see it's boiling down. And we put all these spices in it. I had some ideas, but I got outvoted, and there was some other things put in.
The bold chipotle was just a little much.
Yeah, didn't get no chipotle in it. But anyway, so that'll take an hour or two, and just you know. And when it's down about another, an inch, that's probably when it's ready. So then what you do is you put it in these little bottles. Of course, they got lids on them, and we probably need more of those. And then we'll put it in the Instapot, and we'll show you how that works. Okay, now here's our Instapot. Now it doesn't have instructions with it on how to can things, pressure cook things, because I guess they really didn't design it for that. But it works quite well. Anyway, it'll fit these jars, and as you can see, 4 of these pint jars fit in there quite nicely. Now you see we've already written the dates and everything on top of this because we actually filmed this part after the fact. I want to show you how we did it though. Now you put a little bit of water in there, and we're not going to do that right now, but you put a little bit of water in there so that, you know, it's 3 or 4 inches up there. You don't need very much water. Maybe halfway up to the bottle, tall as the bottles are. Now, what you do is you turn this thing on, and you set it for a pressure cook, and you can set it for a time. And what we do is we just set it for 5 minutes. So what happens when you do that? Now, various other brands of this probably have to set it differently, but what we do is have it come up to pressure, and then sit there for 5 minutes, and then cool down. Now, because tomatoes are an acid type product, you know, you can what they call water bath them. And this is actually doing a little bit better than water bathing, but, you know, because it does come up to pressure, comes up there for 5 minutes and goes back down. But anyway, you do that, and, you know, you get, and it'll can it for you. And the reason we like this is because most pressure cookers that you buy, it's a big production. You know, you have a great big pot, and you know, cook quart jars in it, and, you know, it's really quite a thing. But this, you know, you just unplug it, dump the water out, and you're about done. Anyway, and there you go. There's the finished product. 6 little jars full of delicious salsa, and it's better than anything you can get in the store. It tastes really, really good. Okay, and here's where those 6 jars ended up. They're back here in the back. See the date there? And as you can see, we've got quite a few others. There's some there, and then there's a shelf up there full of salsa. And then we've got some left over here. Now this is about gone. And we've been eating this stuff. This whole shelf was full at one time, as was this shelf here was completely full. It's still quite full. But you know, comes out of the garden, and you know, with the brandywine tomatoes and so forth, this stuff is absolutely delicious. You know, a point of interest, I was talking about the Instapot. These are beets, and you know, beets are not acidic, so these require the full pressure cooking timing. I think, what is it, half an hour, 45 minutes at pressure. Now you can set that Instapot to do that, and that's what we did here. We canned these about a year ago, and it worked great. And we've been eating these. There's been about, I think, 5 or 6 of these bottles that have been eaten. So it does work, even, you know, for standard canned type things like vegetables and things of that nature. And it works. It's real simple to do it for tomato sauce and things like that that are acidic.